I have back my very good friend and the leading ADC stalwart who has been doing some real damage to the ruling party. Mr. Ken Okonkwo is a lawyer and is also NWC member of the ADC, the main opposition party. Ken, good to see you again.
It's my pleasure, Louis, and thank you, viewers, for joining us.
Anyway, we're going to make it a very important conversation because very deep and bring out some new dimensions to this whole issue.
As usual.
As usual, of course. So, it's going to be 3 years, a couple weeks, May 29, that President Bola Ahmed Tinibu has been in government. Now, I want to ask you, Ken, is there anything that you guys in the opposition concede that, okay, this one, he got it right, as you give an assessment of the 3 years?
Well, first of all, let us just be realistic. This has been the 3 years of catastrophe. The only thing I can concede to President Tinibu is that in the budget, all the amount he said he was going to borrow, he borrowed it. So that is the only thing that
So we have money to do stuff.
That is the only thing he fulfilled in the entire budget from 2023 when he did his supplementary, budget. All the item on borrowing, he borrowed and overborrowed. So a government that is not producing anything is now dubiously computing our debt based on GDP. And they will tell you in America, in France, in UK, they're talking about GDP. But they forgot that that's a producing nation where they get a lot of their tax from production houses. Any country, and I talk as an economist, that is not a producing nation, you have to denominate your debt to your revenue because you will run into problems. Soon we'll be bankrupt. That will not be enough. We will not have enough to pay for our revenue because the production houses are dying. There is no power to power them up. You have to be a billionaire in dollars for your businesses in Nigeria now to survive. That is why the small scale and medium scale businesses are dying. You don't have power to produce, and power is the ability to do work. So this government is the government of catastrophe. The only industry that is viable now, that is booming, is politics.
Oh, wow.
That's why people are struggling. As you must have heard, that the governors are budgeting already 800 billion naira to support the campaign. That is the only industry that is blossoming under Tinibu, because he does not want any context in 2027. So he wants to snatch it, grab it, fight for it, and run away with it. And with substantial war chest, like he did in 2027, he thinks he can do it again. So this government, let's start with the most basic thing, because you started by asking, what do I concede to them? And this is the only thing I concede to them. So if what I concede to them is catastrophic, then you can imagine what the rest is. Let's take on the security, for instance. Nigeria has become a killing field. You have 195 countries on earth, and Nigeria is the 4th most terrorized nation on earth by World Bank report. Anybody that goes out of his house in Nigeria, no matter how highly placed, it is only in the hands of God that you are in till you get back. There are places you would tell your wife you're going. Before you come back, she has already become a basket case because she's scared that you may not make it back. Plateau has become a killing field. Tinubu went there personally and said it will not happen again. And before he left there, people have been massacred. And in all these things that massacring going on, Tinubu has not visited one place. One, not two. When he went to Benue, another basket case. I remember the governor of Benue State at certain point say Benue is bleeding. He couldn't go to Yelwata where the incidents were happening. You know the reason he gave? That you have rain and you have bad roads. Yet the children of Benue came out in that rain and bad road to be waving him. He stopped at Makode. He attempted it again, going to Plateau. He stopped at the airport and told them there was no light. So you have a president that not only that he has failed to secure people, Kwara State used to be one of the most peaceful in Nigeria. It has become a killing field that you are seeing Kwashoko in IDP camp. People who are running away from lack of security in Kwara. Terrorists are now manning some local governments. In Niger State, they've started blowing bridges and infrastructure, meaning they are evolving as a military, military apparatus, military terrorism. Because when you start talking about ambushing our security, when you start talking about planned work, they are no longer terrorists that do hit and run. They now do hit and stay in Tinibu'S government. So I don't need to tell you, in Southwest, they are crying. You recall what happened in Ibadan, in the national park, where people went, terrorists, and killed people. You know how many Yoruba kings that they have killed, assassinated. Same thing in the southeast, and in the north. So, but here is the point. I am troubled because Tinubu, not only that he's not solving the problem, it looks like he does not have the mind to solve them. For any problem we have, let me address the issue of power. First of all, Tinubu anchored his re-election on the provision of power for Nigerians. He said, if I do not give you power, do not vote for me. We do not have power. And if he were to be a man of honor, he would not even run. If he were to be the British Prime Minister, he would not even run. Because in that basic thing about power, he has not given Nigerians. But here is my concern, that not only that Tinubu is not giving us all those things, but that he is trying to build another kingdom for himself and his family to shield himself from the failures of his government. In the issue of power, he has devoted 20-something billion naira to build the solar energy so that Aso Rock will be getting its source of energy from solar. How would he then know what people are suffering by the absence of power?
Okay.
And something is troubling me
I want to wrap up
in that particular issue.
Okay.
Have you not noticed that it looks like he's building Aso Rock to become a life president?
Why?
No, why are you insulating yourself from the problems of the society?
Okay.
Can't you see the amount of security that his own family members are using when they're going on the road? That even Wole Soyinka say is enough to go and fight to stop a queue in another country. Wole Soyinka is associate.
Okay, yeah, Ken,
you know. So I am beginning to be concerned. Lastly, you saw what happened in the Senate, where Senator Akpabio was trying to amend the Senate rules to secure proactively his own seat to be Senate president.
Yeah, but that's not Tinubu's problem.
Oh, so you do not know that if they can amend the rules of the Senate to perpetuate themselves in power, that is a road to amend the constitution to perpetuate Tinubu in power.
Okay, all right.
What will Tinubu not get from this National Assembly?
Okay, all right. Very, very critical, very scathing,
and very scaring,
and I mean, not that I expected less from you, Ken. No. But let's try to look at it from a different point of view. So let's hear what he said.
Go ahead.
What the president said about the main opposition figure in ADC. That's Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who was vice president. The president said,
yes,
in one of his last outings when he was meeting the renewed Hope ambassadors in the villa, he said that, hey, look, the main guy in this opposition people who wants to take over from me was the chairperson of the National Privatization Council, where a lot of things were sold, and he has the question that, is any of those things working that was sold under Atiku's chairmanship? And then Atiku himself, is on the record to say that, okay, look, when it comes to power reforms during the Obasanjo regime, that we got a lot of money from the local government, from state government, from the federal government, but we could not deliver power after 8 years. Atiku himself said that. Atiku owned up to the failure. So how do you respond to those two things, which is the counter from the president or from their side?
What do you expect from, because I just gave you an example of power. Since this president came, he has been mounting the issue of state police. Has he given you state police? With 32 governors. With Senator Pabio in his pocket. He could get anything that he wanted. When we entered this government 6 months into Tinibu'S regime, I said he will not give you state police because he would want to use federal police to manipulate election. So I just want you to know that a president that cannot even fulfill his own statement is talking about privatization. I will just give you one example. For you to know that one of the best things that have come to this country is the privatization program. Before Obasanjo came, it was only NITEL that we had. And before 6 months, it was privatized. What a success story. Nigeria is one of the best nations now that operates in internet. Now people are even saying we are overdoing it. Privatization. When Obasanjo, before he left, he wanted to privatize the refineries. They had actually sold to Dangote. It was reversed. I wish it stood. Because eventually Dangote now built his own. And since that time till date, that the government has been pushing money, almost $20-something billion, to repair the refineries gone down the drains. When something is privatized, it goes into private hands. It is no longer the government. So what this failed president failed to address is that as it was in the private hands, the government was not spending anything again for those companies. And whether they succeeded or not was no longer the business of government. If those refineries were in private hands, the government wouldn't have spent $20-something billion, even if it was not working.
Okay.
So the privatization saved this country a lot. And it's no longer the business of the government whether it works or not. The business is that you are removing the hand of government from the businesses, and most of them are not viable.
Well, that would be
There's something I say.
Ken, just a minute.
Go ahead.
Just so we integrate ourselves. So if we say that, which is a fact, that once you privatize, it's out of the hand of government.
Sure.
The power sector itself is largely privatized. So why wouldn't you then concede that the president doesn't have any power to actually deliver on the promise that he made? Because these are now private companies, just using your own analysis.
No, very well. And you would have to apologize to me that it's not my analysis you're using. You forgot that our problem is not production. Our problem is transmission. And sorry to say it, foolishly, they still retain the transmission company in the hand of the government. Why government entered into a lot of problem is that they entered into agreement.
But that's
with
not
the
decision.
production.
It's not the decision of Tinubu.
No,
that was actually the decision of the PDP, not to privatize.
Not Obasanjo. Not
at some point we have to check.
The privatization came after.
Yeah, but I see your point about transmission still not privatized, but distribution is and there are quite a lot of the issues in the power sector is about the infrastructure for distribution that those guys in the discourse are holding on to. So my argument is that if you're going to say a privatized company is not the responsibility of government, then you have to give the president a slack.
That is what I am saying. We entered into problem because we entered into agreement with the Gencos that no matter what they generate in terms of power, the government will pay, whether the government is using it or not. That is where we entered into those trillions of debts to them, because they generated a lot of megawatts.
Stranded power.
Good. Now, you can't talk about distribution when the transmission is not there. That's it. You are distributing what is transmitted. So the problem is in transmission, where we would have even 13,000 megawatts and we're transmitting only 3,000, 4,000.
Yeah, I see that point, but my argument also is that the infrastructure of the distribution itself is not even capable. To be able to distribute even what is transmitted. Even what is transmitted, the discourse is in instances are unable to distribute. That's not the problem. You are right about transmission.
Very good.
But it's also correct that in instances, the distribution company themselves are not able.
Good.
I mean, people are still buying transformers, Ken.
Yes. I agree with you. And I'm telling you, sorry to use this word, because I don't know a better word. It is foolishness for the government to come into the center of the narrative, and they are not integrating very well backward, and they are not integrating well forward. They were the ones that made the policy. Why would you be stranded and you are a government in a policy that you made? Why did you not build those things in the agreement? And like I said, it has nothing to do with the privatization policy that the government of Tinubu is talking about. And again, why did he become president? He became president to correct what has been wrong. And then to creatively make it better. As you know, by my nature, I don't like excuses. You are the commander-in-chief. Anybody that is leading me start giving excuses. You're on your own. All right. Because the reason we voted for you is to correct issues. And you're still whining.
Now, let me take you up on
this president. Thank you. Privatization is not going well. You're not able and capable to do it. Can you step aside?
For somebody who
knows how to solve it.
He is saying that the person, that is Atiku, was the one that sold a lot of other companies that are not working today. You've given an example of the one that is working.
And even those ones he said are not working, I told you that it is not the duty of the government. Assuming the government totally privatized everything about power, it would have been working excellently well.
But the point is that Atiku considered on the record
of the power.
Atiku considered on the record. We can play it.
I feel very, very emotional about it, because I believe if we had handled the issue of electricity when we were in office by 2005, we would have provided enough electricity for the people of this country.
We failed on this. That's what Atiku considered.
Very good. Let me come in now in that particular point. And that's why I like leaders who take responsibility. In Obasanjo's government,